New bookshelves. Look at them! This probably looks like my old bookshelf, but actually that is over there. Shall we have a look at the bookshelves? Yes. This shelf is my favorite, which is why I put it in the middle so that you guys all can see it. Hi everyone, it's Emma, and today I'm doing my series review for the Shades of Magic Trilogy. I made one of these videos called Why I Love the Foxhole Court, and that's what I'm doing for this series as well, but I changed the title to What's to Love About because I've thought that I might want to do these videos for a series that I don't love unconditionally someday. What I really want to talk about is what is good about this series and what might make you want to read it or what kind of things it has in it that you might be interested in. The first book is A Darker Shade of Magic, then A Gathering of Shadows, and lastly, A Conjuring of Light. I made my Conjuring of Light spoiler review last week. If you have read all the books and you want to see what I thought of the last one, I'll link that down below so you can go check it out. That being said, about wanting to someday do this video for a series that I don't love unconditionally, this series I do love unconditionally. The Shades of Magic Trilogy, all three of them are some of my favorite books ever. I have no issues whatsoever with the writing of these books, and I just love them so much. These books take place in a fantasy world that's kind of based on our own. They all take place in London, but in this world there's 4 different types of London. So there's Red London, Grey London, White London, and Black London. Grey London is kind of like our London in the 1800s-ish time zone. There's no magic, there's a king. Red London is full of magic and kind of thriving. White London has magic, but they're kind of magic hungry, like it's corrupted world ruled by corrupt people. Black London is a London that was consumed by magic. So in this world, there are people called Antari, and they can travel between the different Londons, and that's kind of where everything starts with this Antari Kell, who is from Red London, and he travels through the different Londons as like part of his job. But on the side, he also smuggles things between Londons, which is illegal. One day he smuggles something that's very dangerous and he runs into this other character named Delilah Bard, and everything goes down from there. Before I get into anything else, I'm just going to talk about a couple triggers that are in these books. There's violence and torture, attempted rape, and the way that magic works, some of them can do blood magic, so they'll like cut themselves to be able to do magic. So if that bothers you, just be aware of that going into these books. These books have a very clear atmosphere and it's very magical, Harry Potter-esque. I will probably compare them to Harry Potter a couple times in this video. Like when you read Harry Potter, there's this feeling of it that gives you like the warm flutteries, and this series has the same thing, which is one of the reasons that I love it so much. The world building isn't super specific in the sense that you don't get it all clearly laid out for you and like how it all works, but there's no holes. This world is so real to me. I was never pulled out of the story once while reading it. I had a picture in my mind of what everything looked like. The writing was somehow very imaginative and magical without being very flowery. A lot of times my favorite books are ones that are vague and poetic writing. This wasn't like that, but it had the same feeling. Even though I think this would be classified as high fantasy, if you're not into fantasy, this is actually a good transition book, or if you only read YA fantasy, since this is an adult series. It's not too complicated or confusing, so I think if you are not into fantasy, or you only like urban fantasy, or you only like YA fantasy, this is a good one for you to try out. They are slower paced books. It took me a while to read each one, like the last book took me 3 weeks, but that was mostly because I really didn't want it to be over. It didn't lessen the experience at all that I wasn't reading it really quickly. It actually enhanced it because I felt so immersed in the story. Even though it's a slower paced book, it's very action-packed and exciting. Like there are a lot of scenes that have your heart beating. I gasped a lot of times out loud. One of the biggest reasons that I love this series is that it is so poignant. There were so many quotes that really spoke to me on another level, and I had to like stop and write them down or mark the page number. I feel like VE Schwab understands life. Reading these books, it was like getting life advice somehow. The characters are for sure a huge reason why I love these books. First of all, we have Delilah Bard, who is a cross-dressing pirate thief. She's kind of a female anti-hero. She definitely does some things that I was like, ooh, okay, Lila. I love her so much. She is strong, but she's not that overpowering, aggressive kind of female character strong that kind of rubs me the wrong way. She has had to survive because her life has been very difficult, and it's made her into the person that she is, and I just respect her so much. I knew right away that she was going to be my favorite. She still is my favorite even after finishing the series. Along with Blue Sergeant and Inej Gaffa, for me, she is one of the most relatable characters that I've ever read. She also is 100% a Slytherin. I'm not making this up. VE Schwab sorted her into Slytherin. Then our main male character is Kel, and Kel is like a sweet sunshine child, but he also is the brooding, has a temper cliche of a male character, but he is that character done right, done in a not cliche way. He's incredibly loyal. He's loyal to a fault, probably. He's very stubborn, but he is also a Hufflepuff, and he's very kind. I loved Kel a lot. I thought he was precious. So Kel is one of the Antari, but he was adopted by the King and Queen of Red London, and so his adopted brother is Rye. Rye is like the flirty, smirking, playful kind of prince, and then Kel is like always trying to keep him in line. One of my favorite things about the series was their brother relationship, because I thought it was done so realistically. Rye's character development is actually my favorite throughout the whole series. Obviously, I can't tell you guys why. He just has a heart of gold, and he loves his people so much. Alucard is definitely the funniest of the characters, who you don't meet till the second book. Like, his lines made me laugh the most, for sure. He also kind of reminded me of Nikolai from the VE Trilogy. Anyone who reminds me of Nikolai, I immediately love. Alucard and Lila's friendship is also one thing that stood out to me a lot in this series. VE Schwab paid equal attention to the friendships and the romantic relationships throughout the series, and I really appreciate that when there's like a good balance of everything. Their friend relationships aren't just like thrown out. They're still deep and meaningful, important in their lives, even though they also have this important romance over here. Because of this series and this Savage Song, VE Schwab has become one of my favorite authors. I just think that she does it all so well. I think that's pretty much everything that I have to talk about. Hopefully this was enough to give you an idea of the general reasons that I love this series, give you an idea as to whether you would like it as well. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button. I'm Miss Emma Reads a lot on all of my social media, which I will link down in the description box. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time with a new video. And I love her. And I just love her. And I just love her. One of my favorite male characters. Characters are so dear to me. So much. So much. So much. That's so not true. I'm exaggerating. They love each other so much. Love Rye. I think I should say one more time that I really love this series and I really love these characters. I think I said it enough now. Maybe just one more time. I really love this series.